Okay, good morning. Um, the other day, I actually did get an email response from Congressman Rob Menendez, my congressman, thanking me for contacting his office 3 weeks ago. He was my first call when I started doing this. Um, I had asked his office specifically about Epstein files because this all happened before um, the Alex Preddy shooting. Um, might have happened before the Renee Good shooting. I don't think it did. I think it was just before the Alex Preddy shooting. Um, and my focus with him, I called him and Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky that day because I was focused on Epstein files. The second tranche of them had not yet been released. Um, he emailed me back 2 days ago. Well, somebody from his office emailed me back. Um, his email to me is only about DHS funding ICE and Kristi Noem. And while I appreciate where he stands on all of those things, especially since we've been seeing more of that activity in the New Jersey 8th District, it is not at all what I called his office about. So try again, Rob. Now, with regard to the Epstein files, Khanna of the California 17th and Thomas Massie, who I called the same day as I called Rob Menendez, are the two people that have really been leading the charge on getting the Epstein files released. They've done good work, bipartisan, good work. The House is not in session today. Let's see, is it here? Yes. Yesterday, this is floor summary today, is actually yesterday. Speaker announced that the House will now adjourn until noon on the 9th. That's Monday. The House is not in session today. It's not scheduled to go back until Monday at noon. Khanna and Thomas Massie have repeatedly said, that they'll read the names. They have said, Khanna just the other day said that every person who went to Epstein's Island should have an investigation. I think most Americans would agree with that. They've also both said that they were drafting articles of impeachment for Pam Bondi. And all I can say is that America is waiting. The government still has not met its obligation to release all of the Epstein files. Todd Blanche has already said they're not going to release any more of them. They've said they're not investigating anybody. Kash Patel in September, as we talked about the other day, lied under oath and said that there was no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked women or children to anybody else. There's, I think, ample evidence that he did. Several other countries are taking action in prosecuting people. France, the United Kingdom, Turkey, Norway, all in connection to people that have been named in the Epstein files. And America is waiting. The next set of hearings that are scheduled in the House for next Tuesday, the 10th, include things like the science of reading and Sharia-free America, which, I don't know if you know this, but we already don't have Sharia law in this country. So I don't know why we need to have a hearing about it. There is nothing scheduled for the Epstein files. The Clintons will allegedly testify on February 26th and 27th. So 2 people out of the hundreds named in the documents. And again, I'm not saying just because your name appears in the documents does not mean that you are implicated. But when there are accusations made by victims whose names weren't redacted and identifying information wasn't redacted, but information about people that were emailing with Jeffrey Epstein was redacted, you should be investigated. If there's an indication that you were on his airplane, if you were an indication that you were talking to this man after his 2008 conviction, and what did Todd Blanche say on was it Meet the Press, that partying with Jeffrey Epstein isn't a crime. That's disgusting. The fallout at Penn State, if you think back to what happened at Penn State and the fallout of Penn State, which I agree with, by the way, Joe Paterno knew about what was going on and didn't disclose it to anybody. Too bad. Too bad that your reputation got ruined. If you know that child trafficking or child sexual abuse or rape of women or rape of anybody is happening, and you decide, I'm not going to tell anybody, or I'm going to tell my brother or my mom instead of the police or the FBI or somebody in authority, then you are just as big of a useless piece of human excrement as anybody else. So we are waiting, and I'm going to call Congressman Khanna, because where are the articles of impeachment? They said they were drafting it when they initially passed the bill, the Epstein Files Transparency Act. So why has Pam Bondi not been impeached yet? Why have articles of impeachment not been brought yet?
Thank you for calling the office of Congressman Khanna. At the start of your message, please include your name and email. A member of our team will get back to you shortly. Thank you.
Hi, Congressman Khanna. My name's Eileen. I'm calling from the New Jersey 8th. I've been really impressed with your work on the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and your bipartisan work with Congressman Massey of Kentucky. But I have to tell you, at this point, America is waiting, sir. I know there's a lot going on, but you guys have both been saying that you were going to read the names. You've both been saying you're drafting articles of impeachment for Pam Bondi. Where are the articles of impeachment? You guys know that the DOJ is still not in compliance with the bill that you passed and the president signed. Not all of the files have been released. Numerous names were unredacted, and identifying information of victims was unredacted. You said yourself that everybody that who went to the island should have an investigation. Right now, I'm looking at the congressional schedule for next week, sir, and I see things like a hearing on the science of reading and a hearing on how we need a Sharia-free America. And I see nothing until February 26th, when the Clintons are meant to testify about the Epstein files. We need action from leaders such as yourself. It will not be forgotten. Do right by the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and all of his many co-conspirators, many of which are in seats of power. Thank you, sir. I don't know. This is just, I mean, anything, America has been reading this, obviously. You all know what's in these files. Something has to be done. We are just sitting on our asses. And it's not okay. Call your representatives. Demand investigations into every person named. They investigate them. If they come back clean, fine. But they should be investigated.